This time, I do want to talk about small or medium businesses and basically the employee relations from start to finish, how they should be handling their employees from the beginning, from the time that they're looking to hire some folks to the time that they separate employment with them, or even after when they have to deal with unemployment. So I do want to touch base on each phase of this process. The first one, I am going to be making different videos, so each small few-minute video will be about each topic. So the first one that I will be doing this time is about when a company or an organization is looking to hire. Um, what do you look for in terms of HR? And what I mean by that is how do you look for folks, for the right people, in compliance with the law and what's out there. And then once you did your homework and you try to reach out and you got some applicants, now it's time to hire them. What does that process look like? How can you hire them? What paperwork they need to sign in order for your organization to be compliant? Um, I will have a small video about that as well. And then moving those guys into training. Now that you hired them, how are you going to make sure that they follow your company policies? They are well trained. They're not going to come to you and tell you, you never told me this, or I didn't know. And you know how to handle those type of situations. I'll have a small video about that as well. And then moving into developing. Developing them, I really mean by that, um, I mean basically their journey and what happens during their journey. I will have a small video that talks about how to deal with those situations, especially if it has to do with progressive discipline and trying to um, support them in a way by going into the right direction that your organization is saying. Whenever they behave or they don't do what they're supposed to, whether you're discussing performance or some just type of expectations at work, how would you handle those situations? And moving from there, once they finish their journey, there's basically two ways: either voluntarily they're leaving the company, your company, or it's involuntary. You're the one who's firing them. How that process works, how can you do both in a way that is compliant with the law, and you don't have to struggle with challenges that may happen after that. And then even after that, after they leave you, of course they may go to look for another job. Sometime they're not that lucky and they don't find a job very quickly. So what they have to do is, what they will do is they will reach out to unemployment to get some benefits while they're waiting for the perfect time to get a job. Um, well, how unemployment works, unemployment folks will technically um, try to understand why they left your company in order for them to actually determine if they're eligible for benefits. And then go back again, and it's just basically it's a circle, and then looking again to hire others and moving them through this process. So as I said, for right now, I will be just talking about what you're doing when you're just looking to hire. So here it is. When you're looking to hire, of course, there are maybe like three ways. One is word of mouth. You're just looking for folks. You might say it to this person and this person say it to another. It is very powerful tool in general. Or you might have a help wanted sign, now hiring, or whatever you want to call it. And then the other piece also as a tool you may be using is those job sites basically where you could post your need out there and people will apply. Also, if you do have um, your own career site, for example, then people could apply directly to your website. What's really important here is when you're looking around, uh, what is the most important thing? Um, I see from an HR standpoint, I do see two things. One is, what are you saying to candidates out there? What are you telling them? You know, and the other one is how consistent you are. So those are the two most important topics that HR could help you with. Um, in terms of what are you saying to candidates, you really want to, explore what do you need? What is that job that you need? And within that job, what the duties are and expectations and everything. And also, who do you need? You don't want to just post something that's general and then you're getting everyone that applies to your company, whether they are qualified or not qualified or overqualified or crazy or whatever the situation is. You're going to get all of them if you're not specific a bit. And then the last is in terms of what you're saying, it's basically what are you offering them? Of course, folks out there, they will be seeing your posting for whatever that position or that job that you have. So they want to make sure, of course, they're going to compare you and what you're offering with others. So that's what you're saying. And then the other piece in terms of how consistent you are, um, I'm talking here more of like there are two types of consistency. One is I call it horizontal consistency. What does that mean? It's basically what I said before in terms of like how are you reaching out? Either it is word of mouth, either it is through help wanted signs or now hiring signs, or through your own career site, or through those other sites like Indeed or Monster or whatever. You want to be consistent in terms of your message. What you're saying to people in front of you will be exact same thing that's out there on the um, job posting sites or on your website. You really want to be consistent in that process, the same message. And then the other piece is about vertical consistency. What I mean by vertical consistency is basically you are consistent over time. Over time, you are basically just saying the exact same information. You're not changing it over time or anything. Of course, if there is any change to your need, that's a different story. But if it is the same type of need, then you want to stay consistent. If you add new duties over time, new responsibilities or whatever it is the case, yes, that makes sense. You can change it then. If it is not, then you really want to stay consistent. So those are the two, the horizontal and vertical consistency that I'm talking about. Um, so if we want to dig deep a little bit in terms of what are you saying to candidates out there, those are the three that we mentioned here there. Like what do you need, who do you need, and what are you offering? Really, that stuff really can be combined in what we could call a job application. In terms of what do you need, you do want to have an explanation to what. Of course, you need the job title. People needs to know what is the title of the job, the duties also uh, of that job, the expectations. What are your expectations? If someone is looking to get that job, they need to know what are you expecting from them or from that duty or from that job. The other piece is the availability. You do want to mention in terms of what you need. Do you need someone who is available? They need to be available anytime. You're going to schedule them in the morning, in the evening, overnight, or do you have specific needs? This way, you're really narrowing down for folks that are out there. If you're looking just for PM shift workers, then put it out there so that you're only going to get people that are looking for PM shifts. They already have other things to do in the morning or overnight. And then in terms of working holidays, for example, put that expectation in there. Do you work, or is that job needed during holidays or during the days that lead to holidays or the days after the holidays? Mention all that information in there. In terms of who do you need, then talk about the experience. Do you want someone who's experienced in that field? Then mention it. How many years? What kind of experience you are looking for? Also, you might put and throw out there some questions in your application that really shows that when they answer the question, it tells you if they're motivated to work for you, or they're motivated to just be a positive asset to your company. And also, in terms of when are they available, ask them that question in the job application. Um, in terms of what are you offering, then you can mention some of the benefits that you will be offering, your competitive pay, supporting them to grow, or whatever the case is. They do want to know, candidates out there, they do want to know what are you offering as an incentive so that they could join you or at least try. Now, in terms of the other piece, I said how consistent you are. We did talk about the two types, the horizontal consistency and the vertical consistency. In this situation here, uh, what's important is it's not, think of it as this way. It is not you who is looking around for candidates. It's your organization. So your organization has its own entity that it's looking for people. You are the one as a manager, you're programming your company to look for whatever. So you throw the information at your company and your company stays consistent, always looking for the same type of candidates and things like that. Nothing changed. Remove yourself from this process. Think as it's your company who's hiring, not you. And then that goes along with basically just the same message across the board. That's what you want. And then navigating through different candidates consistently. You will have candidates that they're not really qualified. You could tell. Or, they are very qualified on paper, but once you speak to them, they don't even know what they're saying, or things like you never know. How are you going to be consistent in terms of um, you know um, moving forward and looking for the right person so that they don't feel like they're being discriminated against, or they feel that you're not going to give them the job before you even hired them, or before you even communicated anything to them yet. You don't want to make sure that you are consistent in that process. And if you do want to know really, like, why do you want to pay attention to this process? The answer is very simple. We do have laws out there. We do have the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the EEOC, as well as the Department of Labor, the DOL. Anyone, they do have an easy number. Anyone could reach out to them and just say to them that I have applied to this organization and they have a bad practice. They made me feel that they're not hiring me because I am this or I am that. And the issue with these type of complaints is really when they reach out to you. So let's say, for example, a candidate applies to your organization and they don't hear back. They reach out to you and you tell them, well, I'm never going to hire you because of how your interview went, because they did bad during the interview, for example. And then they're going to ask you, like, what did I do? What did I say? And they argue back to a point where they will feel that you are not hiring them just because of who they are instead of what they said. So they will pick up the phone and they will call the EEOC or the DOL, and they will let them know that you do have a bad practice that made you feel discriminated against or whatever. Those guys in the government, what they will do, they will send you a letter, and they will tell you we received a complaint that is stating this and this and that, and you do have 30 days to respond to us with your processes in regards to this person, as well as your practice in general when you're looking around to hire folks. What is your practice? How do you do that? And when you send them a letter within that 30 days explaining what happened with this person as well as what's your practice, if they're convinced, if they see that you do have a good practice and a very supported, and you're looking at every step in a very careful way, they will probably close the case. And if they don't see that you are paying attention to those details, then there is a very good chance that they will send one of their inspectors to come in and give you a visit at your place so that they could really determine the bottom line of what happened with that person, as well as see your practice and find any violations that you might be doing or you might have done in the past too, and give you a lot of penalties. So again, this process is very important. I hope this helps. Um, if you see this useful, I would appreciate if you could, like, share, or subscribe. I do believe there are maybe others that might see this beneficial. So please share that information, and let's go from there. Good day.